A very glorious good afternoon to everyone. In front of you, this is beloved Akshaya. I am studying first year MPC. I am from TTWREIS Girls Utnur. Present, I am studying in Star 50. Today, I am here to explain you about my topic. Before moving forward, I would like to ask a question. Why we are stable on the earth when we compare to the space persons? Yes, we know that many peoples are gone into space and they always flying in the air. But we the people who lived on the earth, we can perform every activity as simple. Now I am standing before you and you are sitting in the classroom on the benches. Now I am walking from here to there. I can run, I can dance, I can perform every activity. Why? What is the reason behind it? Yes, exactly. It is a friction. Due to the friction, we are able to do every activity as simple. So due to the friction, we are able to walk, run, perform every activity on the earth. But there is no friction in the space. So they always flying in the air. So today my topic is friction. Firstly, I want to define you about friction. The force that you applied by a motion, the object will be in the between two surfaces. It slows down and stops the motion of an object. Now about introduction of my topic. In this class, we are going to learn what is physics and we are going to talk about the concept of physics and what exactly it is. And I am going to make the concept crystal clear about for you. Let's go ahead and really understand what is friction. Before we get started, I just ask some question. Why does a rolling ball stops after some time? Yes, when you kick a ball, what do you notice? That after some time, the ball automatically comes to a stop. Even nobody can stop it, right? When the ball is rolling, it automatically comes to a stop. Why is that? Let me ask another question. What stops the golf ball? Yes, I am not played golf. Have you guys played golf? Not proper professional golf. So, when you hit a golf shot, what do you observe? You know that many times the golfers like, oh no, the ball didn't go into the hole, right? This situation we can observe if you watched it in television. So again the golfer did his best to hit the ball. Everyone are excited. The match is going between two persons. So the ball is coming with too fast at the corner of the hole. It comes just to stop there. Who stops the ball there? So I am starting my topic by these questions to understand you about what is friction betterly. And I am sure that you guys know how to ride a bicycle and you have tried it definitely. So when you are riding a bicycle, you apply some brakes on it. When you applying brakes, the cycle will automatically get stops. Why is that? And have you ever observed that? How does a matchstick light up? I am taking a matchbox here and I am taking a matchstick from the matchbox. When I am striking the matchstick to the matchbox, it will get burns. Why it is happen? What is the answer for all these questions? Exactly, the friction between the object is called the object. Now, the friction is due to the friction, the object are opposing their every actions. So, today I am going to explain you about the frictions. So, what stopped the rolling ball here? The force of friction stopped the rolling ball. You are seeing an image on the screen that a ball is stopping on the green grass. Who stopped it there? It stops. It just stops by the friction applied to that ball. And in the same way, you got it right. How the ball is stopped at the hole? When a golfer hit the shot of golf and the ball is coming towards the hole and it just stops at the corner of the hole. And it is also now in this case also friction is applied by the grass, which is going to stop the ball, as well as the friction is between the brakes. When you are applying the brakes, the friction helps to stop your cycle wheels. By that friction only, the vehicles of bicycle get stops. And friction acts between matchstick and matchbox. So when you are striking, automatically by the friction it can produce some heat. Have you ever observed that? The rough surface on the matchbox, here you are observing that the rough surface on the matchbox, which generates some heat and cast to matchstick burn. Yes, here you are seeing this, right? Now we are talking about what is friction, where does it act, how will act, and how the friction is applied to the object. But what is the direction of friction? Yes, try a simple experiment to understand you what is the direction of friction. I am taking a book here. Take any object as your wish. So I am marking the direction to this book. I am saying that east, west, north and south. I am marking the direction to this book. When I apply the force from the east direction, the motion will be also in the east direction. But what is the direction of friction? Yes, exactly. The direction of friction is coming from the west side. If I change the direction, what will happen? Let's say I am pushing the book from this way. It is the north side, right? When I am applying the force from the north side, the motion will be also in the north direction. But the friction is coming from the south direction. What we are observing by this experiment? You are right. It is that friction is also has force and it has a direction. Friction always opposes the motion of an object. So, consider our example that golfer. When the golfer is hit the golf shot, the ball is coming towards the hole, but it's stopping at that corner. Here, really the golfer feel very sad because he doesn't win, right? Who does he blame here? He blames the force of friction because it is impossible to stand a person at the corner of hole to stop that ball, right? And in some cases, the friction is also useful for golfers. How it is means, if the golfer hit the shot very hard to the ball slows down and it's roll over all the ground and is just go in the hole very fast. So friction is also helps in some time and it also does not help in other cases. Now we are talking that about all the frictions. So if I ask you the question, which surface have greater friction, from our common sense and experience, what will be the answer? That is rough surface or smooth surface? Yes, exactly. From our experience, we can say that rough surface have greater friction. So take a ball to get the better answer. Take a ball and roll it on a rough surface. Take same ball and apply same force. Now roll the ball on the smooth surface. What will you notice? Yes, you notice that on the smooth surface, the ball goes very long distance. Why is that? Because smooth surface have less friction. So the ball automatically slip on the smooth surface. But what happens when you are rolling the ball on rough surface? Yes, it takes some time to go further distance because it has greater friction when we compare to the smooth surfaces. Yes, you got my point, right? Next, moving to the next topic, that is types of friction. There are 4 types of friction, that are static friction, fluid friction, kinetic friction is also known as rolling and sliding friction. Now let's talk about first static and fluid friction. Now about static friction. Yes, let's say you want to move the stationary sofa in your living room and the sofa is really heavy. What will happen if you give it an initial push? Yes, you are right, nothing will happen. The sofa doesn't move. If you apply a lot of force, then also the sofa doesn't move. Why do you think the sofa doesn't move? Well, the answer is static friction. The force you applied is balanced by the frictional force of the ground. And this force is applied in the opposite direction to your push. So if I'm saying that here, you imagine this has a sofa. So when I am pushing this from this direction, the frictional force will be act from the floor, means it ground. Now, this force is nothing but static friction. The concept of static friction is really amazing. Why do I say that? The reason I say that is because it is a self-adjusting force. As you increase the push of the force, it will increases in static friction. And moving to the next friction, that is fluid friction. So, friction is offered by fluids like air and water. The force of friction due to the fluids, it refers to as a fluid friction. The frictional force we see in solid parts, it refers as a dry frictions. And the major parts of states are solid, liquid and gaseous. Liquid and gaseous generally refers to as a fluid friction, while liquid gaseous refers to fluids. Yes, one common characteristic is that they have no fixed shape and can be easily deformed. Let me discuss more about fluid friction. When I drop a stone from a particular height, it will fall on the ground. Does air has resistance here? Of course it does. What about water? Does it offer resistance? Yes. When the fish swims in water, they encounter the fluid resistance from the water. To understand this point well, we need to answer a simple question, that if an object is moving from the point A to B through air, as well as an object is moving from the point A to B through water, which object does have more resistance? Clearly it will be the water, right? More fluid has more frictional object to force push it on it. So there is a term which describes the fluid resistance to flow is called a viscosity. Here we can say that the water has more viscosity when we compare to the air, and honey has more viscosity when we compare to the water. And it is very important to know the fact well. The fluid friction is also depends upon the shapes of the objects. And have you ever thought about why aeroplanes are in that shape only? They are just could be a rectangular box flying in the air. And how have the fish evolved like this shape? When you see the fish shape, every fish has same head like this. They have this shape. Why? Why the fish evolves that shape only? And why the sheep designed the given shapes? There is a reason for all these questions. That is, they given streamlined shape to minimize the fluid friction. Yes, moving to the next part, that is kinetic friction. I said that kinetic friction is also called as rolling friction. So now let's talk about what is rolling friction and how it will be act on an object. Now let us say you have a cuboid shaped box placed on a table. Try push it. You will require some force to push it forward, right? Now place the same box on the top of the cylindrical pencils. Now try to push it. What will you observe? You will observe that in second case it will be easier to move the cuboid box. Why is that? Do the pencil reduce the friction between the box on the table? Absolutely. But it's not about the pencils. It's about the shapes of the pencil. They are in cylindrical shapes. So assume that you are traveling to another city and you are carrying a luggage bag weighing around 25 kilograms. If you are unable to carry that bag, the only option you have is to drag your bag on the floor. But still you require a lot of force to drag your bag on floors. What happens if your luggage bag had wheels under it? Exactly, it will be easier. But the question is here, why it is easier when you are fixed a rollers under the luggage bag? Yes, hold to this thought, I will come to the next point. I will come back to this friction. Before we discussing the above situation, we need to understand what is sliding friction. It is the force of friction which opposes the relative sliding motion between two objects set in contact. And what does it mean in simple words? It simply means that if an object is in motion of an surface, the object will have sliding friction. Now consider our example. When the box is moving on the table, we can say that the box and table have in relative motion. Remember that the surfaces must have in relative motion because there is a movement involved between them, and this force is also known as the kinetic friction. Kinetic friction. So now consider our above example that which we don't have the rolls under the bags. When you give a push, what will happen? There is no rolls, so it will be some difficult to carry your luggage bag. And what happens if you are attaching the rolls under your bag? Yes, we know that it will be easier. It reduces the force of friction in a great extent. So we can easily carry our bag around anywhere you want to go. Yes, moving to the next point, that is sliding friction. Already we are discussed in this what is sliding friction. Sliding friction refers to the resistance created by two objects sliding each other. And when you are rubbing your hands, the heat is produced from your hands. It is also called sliding friction. Now, cause of friction. What is the cause of friction really? Now you see here, I am taking a book. You assume that my hand is a table and I am putting the book on my hand. So by seeing with our naked eyes, they are seems as smooth. But when we are zoom these two surface portions in a microscopic level, they seems as up and down structures. The book also has up and down structure at this corner, and my hand is also have up and down structures. What happens? The two objects have up and downs like mountain peaks shapes they involved. So both the up and down shapes are interlocked each other like this. You assume that this is a book surface and this is a table surface. When they are have like up and down shape, they interlock each other like this. So you know that when you push a book, it will stop after some time. What happens there? It is also there is two forces are applied. When you are pushing the book, the friction is coming to the opposite direction. It will help to stop the book. And here when you are pushing, it is struck because they are interlocking each other so that the book struck at the table. I think you are understanding it, right? Now friction is caused due to the interlocking of irregularity between the two surfaces in contact. You are seeing when I am kept the book on my hand, they are contact with each other. They are in contact with each other. So here seeing that why they are striking, because the both surfaces have irregularity shapes between them, and smooth surface have minute irregularities between the two surfaces, and rough surface have larger irregularities between two surfaces. You are seeing in the picture that is one object and table are looking you. When the portion is zoomed, they are like that up and down reels. Yes, that is cause of friction. Next one, moving to the next point, that is advantages of friction. Advantages of friction. Yes, there are many things. We are able to walking and running, sleeping, everyone because due to the friction. Now I am walking. It helps us to walk conveniently and it saves us from slipping. Friction is also helps to burn a matchstick. It also helps to write on a piece of paper. Friction helps to stop the moving vehicle when you apply the brakes on it. And due to the friction, we have to exert more power in machineries. A horse cannot pull unless of friction. And friction is everywhere you can see in our world. And friction helps to drive nails and screw into the walls. Friction helps in everywhere. So moving to the next point, that is disadvantages of friction. Disadvantages of friction is that produce a heat in various parts of machines. In this way, some useful heat is also wasted in the form of heat energy. And due to the friction, the holes in your jeans and shoes caused. It has highly friction. When your shoes and jeans have holes, means that has high frictions in that. It is called as fluid friction also. Now, lack of friction is dangerous because it may lose you and it may slip on the floor. Friction decreases the speed of vehicles. Friction between trees and branches cause forest fires. Now, moving to next summary. We had discussed what is friction and how does it act on an object, and what is the direction of friction and the difference between smooth and rough surfaces we had discussed. Mainly we discussed the types of friction. How many types are included in friction and what are they and what the help of them? We are learned that. And friction is a force between two surfaces. We discussed that smooth surface have less friction and rough surface have more friction. Friction causes heat also. I am showing you that experiment by matchstick. When I striking, the matchstick get burns. It means that friction causes heats also. Friction reduce by using liquid to make surface smooth. Now next, conclusion. By this we can conclude that the importance of friction, and we know that how many types of frictions are included, and in fact the life is impossible if there is no friction on the earth. It is very important to have friction on the earth. By the friction only I am standing here, I am able to speak with you. And by the friction only we are doing everything. Every performance you are doing in your daily life is only by the friction. So it is very important. If there is no friction, what happens? Everything would just like slipping and everyone are flying in the air if there is no friction. If you are not able to stand on the earth also. So if there is no friction, we are flying in the air. By flying, we cannot do our activities. So it is important to have the frictions, and without friction we cannot do anything. For every action there is a part of friction, we can understand by this. Thank you everyone, especially I thanks to the Government of Telangana State and Secretary Sir and the TSAT Live channel and my coordinator Sharma Sir and Govardhan Sir, my escort teacher Maunika ma'am and my guidance teacher Pramila ma'am and Pramod Sir. Thank you everyone. Thank you.